accusations that Farrah did. So this moment in my life, you probably recognize when I went viral for defending someone that I thought was a friend and lost a great opportunity to share my story on TV for defending someone. But let's hold the brakes. Before that ever happened and before I became who I am today, there is a story. Hi, I'm Kimberly Noel. I'm a YouTube TV personality, celebrity publicist, and a manager. I was born in Nyack, New York, in Rockland County. I don't really like the name that I was given. Everyone knows out here on YouTube what that name is. Why the untold story? I thought you told us your story, Kimberly. I didn't really tell my full story because there was a lot of aspects of why I did not tell the full story. Because I had a relationship with the person that gave me birth. Things civil, after everything you guys have heard, there's more stuff to it, For respect of her, I said, you know what, let me not air certain stuff about my story. There's certain people in this industry that have heard about what I had to really go through as a child. And let's hold back on before I became everything. This is really, I'm sitting down to really show you what I really had to go through, as a child. The person that gave me birth, it looks like she had different intentions. She really didn't want to have me. She didn't want to have kids. It was just a plan of her to basically, get papers from my father. And the whole thing was okay, how my father was schizophrenic and bipolar, and he was, she would tell me so much bad things about him until I saw a video with my own eyes that my grandfather, left. And this was probably after my grandfather died. I went through his things. And so, and everything was adding up with other aunts were telling me what really went down. And, since this day, she does not want to admit that she was at the wrong, She basically, for her to get papers in this country, she basically start hanging out with my father and had him start doing drugs, alcohol, literally have him do hard drugs. So he would come back all up, and she's pregnant. Before me, she had a miscarriage, she had twins. So she basically played this off and played the government to basically say that my father abused her. And it's so wrong of what she did. At the end of the day, you took away a father that now thinks that I have the age of 4 because of your decision. You didn't think about yourself. You thought about yourself only and didn't care. And, it just became to a point, eventually I was born. And I was born with a lot of complications. I was born with learning and mental health and speech therapy. So, most of my life until the age of 4, then this man comes into my life, and that's her now husband. And, he never really liked me. He basically would try to just buy me gifts because he was trying to see if he can have some type of relationship, but he really just didn't like me. The constant abuse, the verbal and physical abuse that I had to go through by this man, he would really put me into a thing, and what she had to say was, it's for your own good. I still felt insecure in my body going through the constant verbal, physical abuse. And, it was to a point that, I had to get child services involved. And after child service was getting involved, the aspect of me calling became to the point that, she would buy me things to keep my mouth shut and say, when they come, tell them that you made everything up. And it was a constant battle. And I'm like, I'm physically getting abused and no one is saying anything. And every time, the luxury things, I would always get Jordans, anything I wanted, I had. But it was to an advantage that I had to keep my mouth shut. And I feel like no child has to go through that type of, she would basically teach me how to do things around the house. My aunt had to physically train me. But, it became to the point that, type of relationship with her, we never really had a relationship. Because, like I said in the previous documentary, I would get suspended constantly. But the main reason why I would get suspended because I noticed that she would take off from work and she would spend time with me. And that was the main reason why I would physically get in trouble, throw a chair at a teacher and break her nose, dance on the tables. I physically did those type of things because I noticed that she would spend time with me, and the time was, fake, but at least she's spending time with her child. And I just had to keep on doing that and doing that to the point that I was at an age that she figured out that that's what I was doing. And